I'd like to go back a little bit to your high school now. I was reading in your book, The Rub Some Dirt on It, that you're this four sports star, right? Having a lot of success. I'd imagine you were fairly popular in your school. And
depends on how you look at that.
Okay, maybe we'll get into that. I'm curious. I did not know you really dealt with some serious depression.
Oh, very much.
And I didn't know that. Could you kind of unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, I not being a Christian, not having that hope in my life, I was very insecure. We had moved to Corpus Christi, Texas, just before my 7th grade year. And up until I was in 6th grade, my friends were my cousins. We grew up farmland and, shooting each other with BB guns and cave exploring and, whatever, playing ball. And then when I got to Corpus Christi, 7th grade, I just dove into sports. And that was my security. My secure blanket was sports. But I didn't have any friends. And I wanted friends really, really bad, because my cousins were so gone. They were my buddies. But now I'm having to make friends. So it was, how can I say this? I succumbed to peer pressure. My best friend started experimenting with pot. So I started smoking dope when I was in 9th grade. And then we went from there to LSD to you name it. So as I'm playing sports and doing well, escalating, and I'm doing okay in classroom, I'm partying crazy.
Even at that young of an age?
What's that?
Even at that young of an age?
Even at that young age, yeah, since I was 13. Matter of fact, when I was 13, I stole a Mustang and drove it to Mexico. So a lot of people don't know that. I was how do you say, it was a miracle. The car wrecks I was in before I ever got my driver's license, fell out of a pickup truck doing 40 miles an hour on the back of my head, could have broke my neck. Just crazy stuff. Putting a shotgun in my mouth when I was a teenager.
Because of the depression.
Yeah. And I didn't know it at the time, but my mom was going through tremendous depression too. And I didn't find out actually until 2 years ago.
Really?
My sister told me what happened. Because it was during that summer when I was a teenager, I went and stayed with my grandparents for the whole summer. And I always wondered, of course I enjoyed being out on the farm. I had a great time, but I didn't know my mom had went and had an abortion. She got pregnant later in life. And so because of that abortion, she became very depressed. And so she began to drink, so she became an alcoholic. So when I would come home, I'd find her sometimes pretty smashed. So I'd have to have my friends outside wait, till I got her in bed or whatever to go in. And then that's when I started experimenting with dope, just to kind of overcome what was going on.
Self-medicating.
Yeah,
basically.
just kind of, that type of thing. So we started doing but again, I played the game hard. I did drugs hard. I was on a fast track to death is what I was. It's just, by the time I was 18 years old, I was an alcoholic. I was a bartender for 4 years at Texas A&M. I don't think there was a day I can remember that I wasn't drunk or high. I mean, after the game, I never played high. But as soon as the game ended, I was, So there's a lot of that in my life that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
About that part of my life.
If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the full podcast, click right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this content valuable.